And the next one is actually on a very, very similar thread. The title is Hubby Wants to Get in Great Shape Now. Of all the times to clean up your diet and aim to get fitter and healthier, you're choosing the last 40 days of my pregnancy to do it? As if I didn't already feel crappy enough in my body. He's like, oh, I've lost some extra pounds. My shorts fit me again. Pfft. My shorts haven't fit me for months. I'm bothered. It feels insensitive. Now imagine the kind of mindset you have to be in as a wife to look at your husband trying to improve himself, trying to lose weight, trying to be fit and healthy, trying to feel better about himself, and then go, it's insensitive to me because I feel crappy and I'm putting on weight and I'm pregnant and therefore I can't join him on his journey. So it's insensitive to me. I just can't comprehend being that type of person. And I don't know why you would have so much hate towards your own husband. Instead of saying, hey, this is awesome, and being a supportive wife and trying to help him out and trying to encourage him, because it's really great that he's doing this for his health and it's going to be really great for you in not even that long. It could be already immediately great for you in terms of if he's watching what he's eating a lot more, then the chances of you eating a lot healthier are also much higher because you live in the same house, presumably you share meals and so on. It can have such a positive influence on you. Him being in better shape physically will mean that he's in better shape mentally, which will mean that he's more able to do things around the house, happier to spend time with you, just a more cheerful, more joyful person in general, the kind of person you want to spend a lot more time with because he's not miserable and depressed and doesn't hate his life because of his diet or because of his lack of exercise or because of his lack of movement in general. That's one way that you could respond to this situation where you're just encouraging and you're happy and you try to make the most of it. And then the other way to respond is, oh, this just makes me feel worse about myself. Seeing other people, even my husband, improve themselves means that I am a worse human being. And that's just, don't do this to yourself. I don't know why you would do this to yourself. Yes, when you're pregnant, especially during the end of your pregnancy, you will put on weight. Yes, your mobility is, generally speaking, for the majority of women, going to be pretty heavily influenced by that. You will not be as mobile, you will not be as, you won't have such an easy time moving, you won't have an easy time exercising, and you don't want to put any effort into losing weight because your body needs to put on weight for your baby, right? That's okay. You can accept being pregnant. You can accept that it's a phase of your life. You can enjoy that feeling of your body growing another human being. You can put yourself in that mindset where you tell yourself, okay, you know what? These are 9 months of my life and that's it. It's a very, very short period of time. I can do whatever I want with my body afterwards. For this period of time, I'm just going to focus all my energy on having the best possible pregnancy. And that's all there is to it. And it does not matter what your husband does outside of that, has no bearing on how you feel about your body. I think honestly what often happens to most people is that they have this internal sense of insecurity, and then anything that other people do around them makes that, like, it's as if a spotlight is suddenly shined on that sense of insecurity. And it's all in your head, it's all coming from you, you're causing it. So, OP, be happy for your husband. You don't need to be sad. You don't need to be frustrated. You don't need to be bothered by it. It is absolutely not insensitive that he is deciding to look after his health and his body. And you can be a good wife to him during this time as well. To read some of the comments, the first person says, I hear you. During my second trimester, my fiance wanted to get in shape while I was still adjusting to my body changes and taking it pretty hard. I hated hearing that he was gaining weight and how he's going to diet, workout, blah, blah. Like, I'm gaining weight and I can't do anything about it. It made me so mad. I've learned to tone it down since then. I'm still his best friend and want to support him in his weight loss journey, but I have told him to not say certain things so often because of how it makes me feel. That's so sad. It's just a reflection that pregnant women often lack self-confidence. And maybe while you're pregnant, that's the thing that you should be focusing on. How can you build some amount of self-confidence in yourself, in your body, in what you're doing at this time, and the changes that are happening in your body at this time? And I understand it's difficult because it's a pretty rapid change that happens really fast, very unexpectedly. If it's your first pregnancy, you have no idea what it's going to feel like or how it's going to look. And definitely looking down at yourself or looking at yourself in the mirror, you'll often have this feeling of like, I don't even recognize this person here because I've never looked like this ever before. That's some aspect of it, but maybe it's still, despite all of that, good to work on your self-confidence and your self-esteem, and to stop comparing yourself to people around you, to especially stop comparing yourself to your husband, who will never go through the same experience as you. The next person says, I can totally understand how it makes you feel. And let's be honest, you don't give birth and suddenly go back to normal. So the sensitivity and frustration will continue. I would maybe also think about the implications. Maybe he realized the magnitude and commitment of caring for his child and wants to be fit and healthy for the future. It's just a different perspective, possibly. Yeah, maybe that's all that he wants to do, you know. That's not a bad thing. OP says, this is a good point, but he was fit and healthy before, so it's just kind of extra annoying. My husband was already lean and running 10 kilometers a day. Now he's cutting out carbs and beer. And it just brackets beer. Just seems extreme. Although I have taken some of his healthier eating habits on board and I've chilled out on the treats, and I think my weight gain is slowing down, which is good, because my last doctor visit, I put on 11 pounds in 2 weeks. I was eating everything. So it seems to me, OP, you're already benefiting from his dietary changes, and beer is not good for you. It's great that he's cutting out beer. I don't understand the shock or horror at that either. And this is also one of those things that you can't drink when you're pregnant anyway. So why does it influence you in a negative way? And the fact that he was already fit and healthy doesn't mean that he can't get any more fit or any more healthy during his time. If he was drinking so much beer that you need to specifically comment on him deciding to cut it out, then it's probably great that he's deciding to get fit. So actually, no, I personally cannot understand how this makes her feel. I would not have the same response if my husband were to do the same at all. And I think it's really great that he's having this experience to seeing her be pregnant. I'm going to read this comment out as well, because I think it's a very interesting, it's a very strange way to look at the scenario. This person says, I think it's totally valid to feel that way. After all, dieting, losing weight, getting fit is not even an option for us right now. On the other hand, he's someone you love and he's trying to improve himself. He may feel that he wants to better himself and improve his health because he's going to be a dad now, if this is your first. Regardless of the reason, I think you can protect your feelings and still be happy for him that he's getting healthier. And then she says, whenever my husband says something like how many miles he walked that day or how much yard work he got done or something that I can't do, I respond with something like, that's great. I grew 20,000 new neurons, or I worked on an entire new set of kidneys, or I gestated your child all day. It's a nice way for me to reaffirm to myself that my body is working really hard too, even if it looks different, and I shouldn't feel bad about it. I should be super proud, just like he is. It reminds him too that I'm working hard, even if I don't look like it, though my husband doesn't need that reminder. I'm sure some do. That said, if there are certain things about your body you're really sensitive about, you can always confide that to him and ask him to talk about those specific things to other people for a while until you can join in the fitness game. I can just not imagine any type of situation where my husband comes home after mowing the lawn outside, and then, you know, we have a giant lawn. So let's say it took him 2 hours or 3 hours to do. And then when he's like, oh, great, I mowed the lawn today, I would sit there while pregnant and respond with, that's awesome. I worked on a new set of kidneys today. There's something about that way of communicating and interacting that sounds to me like you're trying to one-up each other in terms of saying, hey, yeah, you did that, but I still did stuff, even though I've been sitting here on the couch and kind of taking it easy all day. And I know that maybe that is motivated by some amount of, again, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, and desire to prove to your husband that you're not just sitting about on your butt all day doing nothing for the sake of it. But if she's right and her husband does not need the reminder that she's pregnant and that's why she's not moving around a lot, why she's not doing as much as he is, then it's such a strange response. It's okay to be proud of your husband just for the sake of what he is doing. And it's not a competition. You don't need to prove to him that you're doing more or that you're doing better or that you're doing something that is comparable to whatever he's doing. It's okay to just be proud of him and be happy for him. And it's okay to be proud of you and be happy for yourself. And it's okay to work on improving yourself in whatever way you want at some point in the future. And none of these things are mutually exclusive of each other. So yes, maybe don't get bitter about your husband trying to improve himself, and try to be a more supportive wife, because it's great when husbands do this, and it always, always, always benefits both parties 100% of the time.